ఈ వీడియోకు ముందు 50 క్వశ్చన్స్ సెలీనియం కంప్లీట్ చేశానండి. ఆ వీడియో చూసాక ఈ వీడియో చూడండి. దాని కంటిన్యూషన్ 51. ఓకే, 51 క్వశ్చన్. Okay. What are desired capabilities in Selenium? Desired capabilities is a class used in Selenium to set up properties for WebDriver sessions. It helps define the desired behavior or configuration to the browser and environment where the test will run. How to use desired capabilities? Like desired capabilities, new desired capabilities. Capabilities dot set browser name Chrome. Capabilities dot set platform name Windows. We can mention like this here. How do you use Chrome options in Selenium? Chrome options is a class that customizes Chrome driver behavior, such as running in headless mode, disabling extensions, or adding arguments. For example, Chrome options, new Chrome options that add arguments. For example, if you want to run your script in headless mode, headless in the double quote, you can add this disable notifications or start maximize. You can pause this like this. What is page object model? Page object model is design pattern in Selenium used to create an object repository for web elements. Each web page in the application is represented as a class, and the interactions with the elements are defined as methods. The key features of page object model improves code readability and reusability, makes test maintenance easier, reduces code duplication. What are the advantages of page object model in Selenium? Improved readability, separates test logic from UI interaction, reusability, code for page interactions can be reused across multiple tests, easier maintenance, and enhanced test structure. How do you implement the page factory in Selenium? Page factory is a class in Selenium that simplifies the initialization of page objects using @find by annotation. You can use @find by annotation like this. Find by username, web element, user ID field. What are the role of WebDriver Manager in Selenium? WebDriver Manager automates the setup of WebDriver executables. It eliminates the need to manually download and set paths for browser drivers. You can use WebDriver Manager like this. WebDriver Manager dot Chrome driver dot setup automatically downloads the setup Chrome driver. WebDriver new Chrome driver dot get pass whatever the URL you want here. How do you execute JavaScript code using Selenium? Use a JavaScript executor interface to execute JavaScript code in Selenium. Like JavaScript executor JS, JavaScript executor driver. JS.execute script alert. This is an alert. Execute JavaScript. This is the way you can use JavaScript executor code in our Selenium code. How do you perform headless browser testing in Selenium? Run browsers in headless mode to execute test without displaying the GUI. You can pass Chrome options like this. What is Selenium Grid and how does it work? Selenium Grid is a tool that enables parallel test execution on multiple machines and browsers. It uses a hub node architecture. Hub is the central server that manages test execution. Node means machines connected to the hub that runs the test. Working process: tests send requests to the hub. The hub distributes the request to available nodes based on browser and platform configuration. Nodes execute the test. How do you set up Selenium Grid in parallel execution? First of all, start the hub running the following commands like this. This is the jar file, I think. You can use this jar, you can execute the script. This is a local host registry. You can use digital capabilities. Example code is here. If you want this PDF, please comment on say, comment section. How do you handle pop-ups in Selenium? Selenium can handle different types of pop-ups like alerts, browser pop-ups, and authentication pop-ups. Handling alerts like alert, that's student alert. This is the alert class. Handling browser pop-ups. Browser-based pop-ups like file downloads can't be handled directly by Selenium. You can use browser settings or third-party tools like Auto IT. Handling authentication pop-ups like this. How do you handle file uploads in Selenium? Use the send keys method to send a file path to the file into the element. The file upload example like this. Upload element dot send keys. You can pass the image here. How do you validate text on web page using Selenium? How do you validate text? We can use get text method. Like web element validate find element by date ID. This is a message of so you can get the element, you can get the id, you can get the text of this id element dot get text. You can store that it is in a actual string. Expected string is welcome. So you can use the if condition here to validate like this. How do you get the attribute value of element? Use the get attribute method. Web element validate find element by dot username, the element that get attribute placeholder. You can pass placeholder here print. How do you count the number of links on a web page using Selenium? With the help of anchor tag and size of the method. You can use list of tags, anchor tags, get the list, can size of the list. How do you select multiple options in a multi-select dropdown? Use the select class from multi-select dropdowns. Multi-select dropdowns. Dropdown find by multi-select. Select, no select of dropdown. Okay, you can. I think you know how to handle this dropdown based on the value, visible text, and index. How do you handle browser notifications in Selenium? Use Chrome options or Firefox option to disable notifications. Like this disable notifications, add arguments. In Chrome options, new Chrome options dot add arguments. You can disable notifications like this. How do you verify an element is element's tooltip text? Get the title attribute of the element. Web element find element based on ID element that get attribute title. How do you scroll a web page in Selenium? Using the JavaScript executor interface, you can pass x-axis and y-axis. This means y-axis means uh, x-axis, y-axis. Okay, x-axis, y-axis. Scrolling vertically. With the help of this scrolling vertically, how do you handle CAPTCHA in Selenium? Selenium cannot handle CAPTCHAs directly as they are designed to prevent automation. However, here are some approaches. Manual interventions. Please pause the script and manually enter the CAPTCHA. Third-party services use tools like 2CAPTCHA or anti-CAPTCHA. Bypass if you have access to the backend. Please disable CAPTCHAs in the test environment. Image recognition. Use OCR tools uh, like Tesseract. Uh, though this is not always reliable. Okay. Manually handling, you can use thread that slip. How do you debug Selenium scripts? Debugging involves identifying and fixing issues in Selenium scripts. Some common approaches include use debugging IDE tools, IDE, place breakpoints in the IDE, like IntelliJ Eclipse, pause execution, and introspect variables and element states. Using console logging, using taking screenshots, debugging element locators, enabling verbose logging. How can you handle stale element reference exception? A stale element reference exception occurs when the reference web element is no longer attached to the DOM. This can be handled refreshing the web element or by using explicit wait. WebDriver, you can use WebDriver wait like this. What is no such element exception? How do you resolve it? A no such element exception occurs when a WebDriver cannot locate an element. Common causes and solutions: incorrect locator, element not visible, frame or window issues. How do you handle synchronization issues in Selenium? Synchronization issue ensures that the scripts waits for application be ready. Use the following approaches: explicit wait, fluent wait. How do you optimize Selenium scripts for faster execution? Use efficient locators, minimize wait times, avoid redundant actions, use headless browsers, parallel execution. How do you log messages during test execution? Use logging frameworks like Log4j or Java built logging system. Using Log4j, this is the code for Log4j. You can log in logger.in for test order, logger.error, logger.debug, debugging details. How do you use soft assertions in TestNG with Selenium? Soft assertions allow tests to continue executing even if an assertion fails. You can use assert, new soft assert that assert equals actual expected assert fail. How do you retry fail in TestNG case? Use the I retry analyzer interface. How do you retry fail test fail test in TestNG using I retry analyzer interface? You can clear the class like this. Public class retry test fails implements I retry analyzer count. You can mention count here. How do you handle proxy settings in Selenium? Configure proxy settings using desired capabilities or Chrome options. What are some common challenges in Selenium automation? Dynamic elements with frequently changing attributes can be challenging. Use relative locators or dynamic export. Synchronization issues, ensuring the script interacts with its elements at the right time. Use explicit wait or fluent waits. Browser compatibility. Tests may behave differently on various browsers. To across multiple browsers using Selenium Grid. Handling pop-ups and alerts. Captcha and OTP and debugging failures. How do you perform cross-border testing using Selenium? Cross-border testing ensures the web applications work consistently across different browsers. Selenium supports cross-border testing through WebDriver implementations for browsers like Chrome, Firefox, Edge. How do you set browser-specific capabilities in Selenium? Browser-specific capabilities allows customizing browser behavior using classes like Chrome options or Firefox options. How do you test mobile applications using Appium with Selenium? Appium extends Selenium for mobile application testing. It supports Android and iOS testing through WebDriver APIs. How do you handle browser-specific extensions in Selenium? Extensions can be added using browser-specific options like Chrome options and Firefox options. How do you test responsive web applications using Selenium? Responsive testing verifies layouts across different screen sizes, use browser development tools, or resize the window with Selenium. This is the code for this. What is the role of Browser Stack in Selenium testing? Browser Stack provides cloud-based infrastructure of cross-browser testing. It supports multiple browsers, devices, and operating systems without local setup. How do you perform geolocation testing in Selenium? Geolocation can be set using browser capabilities or through browser extensions. How do you handle SSL certificates in Selenium? To bypass SSL certificates, warning configure browser options like ignore certificate errors like this. Chrome options, new Chrome options that add arguments, ignore certificate errors. How do you test different browser zoom levels using Selenium? Browser zoom levels can be set using JavaScript or browser specific capabilities. With the help of JavaScript executor, js.execute script in the parenthesis document.world.style.zoom percentage of style size. How do you test in incognito or private mode using Selenium? Configure browser options for incognito mode. For example, the code Chrome options, new Chrome options that add arguments, incognito. With this, you can launch your browser launching in incognito mode. We can pass the Chrome options here. Driver, new Chrome driver options here. Driver.get. You can pass the URL. So the the web driver open in incognito mode. How do you integrate Selenium with Cucumber for BDD? Cucumber allows implementing behavior-driven development by writing test case in Gherkin syntax. Selenium is integrated with Cucumber to automate web applications testing based on these specifications. Add dependencies for Selenium and Cucumber in the bounded XML file. Write features files with Gherkin syntax. Implement test definitions using Selenium. Use Cucumber runner class to execute the test. In feature file, you can write the scenario like this. Login functionality, user login logs in with valid credentials. Given user is on the login page, when user enters valid credentials, then user should be redirected to the dashboard. This is the code for this. Given when then conditions. How do you integrate Selenium with Jenkins? Jenkins automates the execution of Selenium test and provides continuous integration. Say with the steps for installation for Jenkins. Install Jenkins and necessary plugins. Create a Jenkins job as add Selenium project as repository via Git. Configure the build, schedule builds, and trigger after the code commits. How do you integrate Selenium with Docker? Docker helps run Selenium tests in isolated containers with pre-configured environments such as Selenium Grid. Install Docker, use Docker Compose to set up Selenium Grid with browser nodes. Execute tests on the Dockerized environment. What is the purpose of using Allure reports with Selenium? Allure reports provides visually appealing test reports with detailed insights like test steps, screenshots, and logs. Add Allure dependencies in the format XML file. Annotate the test method, zero step, and attachment. Generate the test report with the help of command mvn allure serve. How do you integrate Selenium with REST Assured with API testing? REST Assured handles API testing, which can be combined with Selenium for end-to-end testing. How do you integrate Selenium with Git and version Git for version control system? Integrate Git repository in your local in your Selenium project folder. Push your project to a Git repository. Use commands like git add, git commit, and git push to manage code changes. Collaborate with your team using branches and pull requests. How do you integrate Selenium with Extend reports? Extend reports create detailed HTML reports for Selenium test. Add Extend reports dependency in bound XML file. Initialize Extend reports object in your test class. Log test results using Extend test. The code extend HTML reporter, new extend HTML reporter. You can pass uh, extend report.html. Extend reports, extend new extend reports. So extend dot attach report that you can attach this report here. How do you perform logging in Selenium using log4j? Log4j helps log test execution details such as errors and execution steps. Add log4j dependency to bounded XML file. Create log4j.properties file. Use the logger class in your test. You can use this code for this log4j. What is the purpose of integrating Selenium with Jira? Linking test results to issues, automatically creating tickets for failed tests. Use Jira REST APIs plugins like JPR or Xray for integration. How do you use Selenium with IntelliJ IDE? Install IDE, create a manual project, add Selenium dependencies to bound XML file, write and execute Selenium scripts using IntelliJ built-in tools.